I'm Beck and welcome to Smash or Pass, the fantasy edition. I've done this for romance already, so I will link that video for you. But Smash or Pass essentially means, will I read this? Have I read it? Do I like it? Or will I never touch this again or at all in my life? So let's jump into all of the titles that I've got and do a very rapid fire smash or pass round. The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang, which I loved 2/3 of and hated the ending, so that would be a hard pass for me. I gave it 2 stars. The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, which I read a while ago on audiobook. I didn't cry like everyone said that I would, so I'm a little bit disappointed by that. I gave it a 4 stars and I enjoyed the tragic love story between the 2 male characters. So it was beautifully written, it was a great retelling, so I would say that one's a smash. Then I've got Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon, and at the time I read this and gave it 3 stars, I think. I had to listen to the audiobook because this is just very rotund and it was very difficult for me to get through. But I think maybe at this point I would do pass, because while I loved certain characters and it was a multiple character story with different perspectives, I think I preferred 1 or 2 key characters over the others, and the ending had so much build up and then it was just over. So this is a really hard one. I guess smash because I've read it and I didn't hate it, but pass because I would never read it ever again. A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik, which I've heard is a dark academia story where characters go to this magical school to become different kinds of scholars with specializations, but while they're there, they are picked off and murdered one by one. And I love the dark academia genre, but I've tried Naomi Novik before and I don't love all of her stuff, so I would say pass. Foundryside by Robert Jackson Bennett, which is on my to be read pile, so hopefully smash. I intend to read it during November, December, so keep your fingers crossed for me. I really enjoyed City of Stairs. Malice by John Gwynne, which is a high fantasy that is in the adult category, and I would say pass. I read this a very long time ago now and I gave it 3. It was meh. I would not pick it up again. I've also actively not recommended it. Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, which is a smash because I love this book. I've got a spoiler recap of this book before I read Hellbent, so I've read this book more than once. I loved it and I can't wait to read it yet again when eventually the 3rd book in this series, also dark academia notably, comes out. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by Victoria Schwab, which is a standalone fantasy book. It was beautiful and thought-provoking, humorous at some points and surprising in others. I would read this again if I had the time. It was on my library to be read video of all the books that I would like to borrow, but I'm not quite ready to read it yet because I think it's also quite a long book, like 500 plus 600 pages maybe. It's worth my time and I really want to reread it, but I don't have time now. Definitely a smash for this one. I gave it 5 stars. The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. I would say smash for this one, especially if you are considering the audiobooks, because this is a very grimdark fantasy story. It's also quite bloody as well. So be forewarned, but if you're reading them physically, I would say pass. If you're reading the audiobooks, I would say smash. The City of Brass, which has recently risen in popularity, but for me that would be a hard pass because I tried reading this. I love the beginning, I hated the rest, and I regret that I finished reading it because I think several years ago at the time it put me into a huge reading slump and I'm not really about that, so pass. Then we've got Jade City by Fonda Lee, and this is another fantasy series that I just was not hyped for. Everyone seemed to jump on the bandwagon for it and I'm like, pass. I read the 1st book and I didn't engage with the characters. It felt boring to me because the plot dragged on for so long. I was just not interested and everyone's like, wow, this really threw me. I'm like, I don't care, pass. The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. I've tried this twice in different formats and I would say pass, which is really regrettably very disappointing for me because Wolf Song, which you can probably see on my bookshelf, is also by TJ Klune, and that is my ride or die favourite book, at least of this year, and so the fact that I put down something else by him is a mystery to me. Just didn't like it. I couldn't say why. Maybe the writing style, the tone. The plot was cozy fantasy and I usually like cozy fantasy, so I don't know what's wrong with me, but pass. The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern, and I tried The Night Circus by this author and I again just didn't like it. I do say I didn't like it, but I mean in the sense that now that I've had quite a lot of distance from it, I would go past because I know that it's not my thing, but at the time I was optimistic and I went, well, everyone else is reading it, maybe I should try it too. And it was more whimsical, more fantastical, and more almost literary in the way that it was written. And I don't know why that alienates me, but I don't read classics, I don't like them. So I think it's just too much of a close cousin to literary and classics for me. So I assume that this book is going to be quite similar to The Night Circus because obviously the same author and that's her style, so pass. The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. I read this and I did not get the hype for it either because it's supposed to be a magical school where this character goes to learn to become a warrior, I think. And while he's there, he's supposed to like forge these relationships and learn different things about the world that he wasn't aware of before. And it was just boring. The characters didn't interact enough for me. There wasn't that connection there. There wasn't that ride or die trust. I was like, I don't care for this. I guess it's a little bit stabby sometimes with the action, but I lost track of the action too. It wasn't super well written to me in terms of the action. Sometimes I didn't follow it as easily as I thought I might be able to. So pass for this one. I'm definitely not continuing on with the series. House of Earth and Blood, which I think is the Crescent City series by Sarah J Maas. I have tried Sarah J Maas before. I got quite far into her Throne of Glass series. Regardless, not going to do this series because I don't like her writing style. I hate how she sidelines her love interests after the initial like, ooh, who is this new and exciting person? And then she just sidelines them in favor of something more interesting. So I don't like the way that it undermines the reader's trust in that sense, but it's not my thing. So hard pass. I'm never going to pick up Sarah J Maas again. Then for some reason on my list, I found Priest of Bones. And this title sounds rad, but I actually have no idea what it's about. All of the others on this list I have some inkling of what they are about. This one I've got no idea. I want to say smash just because it's a mystery to me, so maybe I'll investigate this one. But if you've read it, let me know if you enjoyed it. Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse, which is a smash because I loved this book. There are also multiple perspectives in here, but unlike some of the other multiple POV fantasies that I've read, this one really sets each other apart. And so you respect and understand their unique differences in the way they think. And so I liked that about this story. I did read VIDS and I didn't love it as much. And then the third book in this series comes out in 2024, I think late 2024. So I'm like, do I finish this series? I'm not quite sure yet. Jury is still out on that one, but if you're reading the first book, smash. Now we've only got 2 left, so the second last one is Raybearer, and this is a fantasy, yes, but it's also a young adult fantasy. So for the category of young adult, I want to say pass, but because there is asexual representation and I don't see that a lot across different books that I read, I might consider reading it. It depends on whether my library has it because I haven't actually checked. So potential smash, but for the young adult category, then pass. The last book on this list is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon, and unlike Priory of the Orange Tree, I really loved The Bone Season and I am really keen to reread it because it just got re-released as the anniversary edition, because Samantha Shannon wrote this book when she was 19 years old and she's now almost 30. So of course her writing has grown since, and this is going to be an 8-book series, I think, and we're up to book 4 or book 5 in the series. So I'm looking forward to rereading it so that I can get back into the series again. So you probably would have guessed it. Smash for that one. But that is all for this video. Let me know which books you agree with me on or what you disagree with me on. I would be interested to know, but thank you again so much for watching this video. I'll come chat to you down below in the comments and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.